Alright, so this is the next idea I've been working on or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Came up with the idea before, whatever, so I went and basically batch crafted a bunch of lapidary dynamos, you know what I'm saying, from thermal expansion. It's my flux network little project box or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So right now I'm making ender eyes. I gotta make blaze powder for that. And you gotta take the way you make blaze powder in this pack is right here. I mean, in the ours is this recipe right here. You gotta run and the pearls and liquid blaze through a chemical bath or whatever. And to make the liquid blaze, you gotta run blaze powder through an extractor. That's to extract the fluid or whatever, or just turn it into a fluid. And trying to look for the recipe. This is the recipe to make blaze powder: sulfur and carbon dust or whatever, right? So, like I said, I'm batch crafting that all the way over there. And that is to make, I forgot what else. That's to make Herculean storage right here. So this is made out of basic flux storages. You know, I have only one of these right now, but I'm planning on making more of these. You know what I'm saying? So I have set up to basically batch craft obsidian. I forgot where I put it on the base. I gotta look for that. And it's more than just this though, cause the gargantuan one is the one that I really want to make right here. So this is 128 billion FE, and you just divide that by four, and was it 64, 64, 32? That'll be 32 billion EU, right? So to generate that much power, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I want to use the lapidary dynamos, like I said. The way I'm gonna do that is lapidary dynamos basically burn gems. So if I take a look at the sand recipe or whatever, go back to the sifting system. You run sand through a string mesh from Xnalo. You get all of these different products. All of these amethyst, emerald, they can all be run through a lapidary dynamo. So this generates 125,000 RF. Like I said, divide that by four. That's what you get in EU. Same thing with the amethyst shards. And the diamonds and the lapis lazuli is what I wanted to do it for in the beginning, as well as another course. I can run this through the lapidary dynamos as well. Before I get to the diamond and the lapis or whatever, I want to have two sets of these. You know what I'm saying? So basically, a whole array of this. Basically, 9 out of 10 is probably gonna fill up a chunk because that's what I do. I'm a chunk builder, so I'm gonna fill up a chunk like one layer with these. If I can get to that, you know what I'm saying? I feel like I have enough, but I'm not gonna make any more than what I got because these are rather expensive to make. You know, well, not super expensive, but expensive enough. You know what I'm saying? This is all steel right here, LV machines. This is raw iron is nothing but just burnt iron, and steel is same thing, but you just run it through a what's the name. I don't want to really go through my steel reserves or waste any more time making a lot more steel. I want to use my steel for other things, so I'm gonna just deal with what I got. And cobalt brass. Cobalt's a byproduct or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Brass is easy to make, but cobalt's a byproduct. The tin is easy, got infinite of that. Redstone flux cells, nothing but gold, and redstone got basically infinite of that. It's gonna be the cobalt. That's the bottleneck right there. You know what I'm saying? I'm basically out of cobalt right now. I don't have any in the system or whatever. So, like I said, I'm just work with what I got. I got 52 here. I got these right here, and I got another stack and a half in the little project box or whatever. But Diatron crystals is the reason why. Alright, so the exquisite Diatron crystal. First of all, Diatron dust. You make it in the mixer. This is nothing but diamond dust and energerium. Energerium is redstone and ruby dust. I have a lot of ruby. I have a lot of redstone. Ruby you have to get from over here. So this rock filtrator, this is the two rock filtrators, both of them sharing a wall. No, that's separate right now. Uh, and run them all the time, and you'll be able to get ruby and a couple different other gems or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So this is my ruby right here. If 136 of them, you know what I'm saying? Um, that's not gonna be infinite, you know, unless I can find another recipe to make ruby or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's very limited, but what you get for it is well worth it. And I'm not really using ruby for anything else. You know what I'm saying? So you macerate it, crush it down, make the energerium. You know what I'm saying? Redstone, like I said, redstone and ruby. Make this. Mix it with two diamond dust. Diamonds are basically infinite. I have thousands of them already. But I'm gonna have an independent system specifically for this. Even though I'm sitting on like at least 30k diamonds, about, you know what I'm saying? I have to check, but it's close to about that, maybe something like that. I haven't checked in a while. And make these crystals, these Diatron crystals, right? So if you run this through a lapidary, the exquisite, you know what I'm saying? You have to get two flawless to make one exquisite. This is what you get first. You know what I'm saying? This is what you get first right here, Diatron. The raw ore or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Run it through autoclave with some water or whatever. That's how you get this and all that from the dust. And you want to get up to this point, exquisite. You know what I'm saying? Two flawless, laser engraver. I have all these machines, so that's not an issue. Have all the lenses and all that to make the exquisite diatron. The exquisite diatron, once you burn this in a lapidary dynamo, 4,687,500 RF, and you just do the division right there. You know what I'm saying? That in itself is probably a little over 1 million EU for every single one of these that I run through there. So, and for the most part, everything else is infinite. You know what I'm saying? The Diatron, I'm not gonna have a lot of that, but it's basically infinite power. So I could be running that forever. And like I said, with the Herculean, the Gargantuan, this right here, Gargantuan flux storage, that's 128 billion. E FE. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, divide that by four, that's 32 billion EU. I don't really have to worry about power. The only thing I have to worry about is bottlenecks. You know what I'm saying? Meaning throughput, how fast I can transfer that power. Um, that's the only thing I really got to worry about. And in order to transfer the power, whatever, you need an energy converter. You know what I'm saying? The converter from FE and the EU, and you need multiple ones because they can only handle a certain amount of throughput or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But I basically power everything. You know what I'm saying? Just keep going up as far as the difference here energy converters. Right now I'm making EV energy converters, which is 1,920 EU um that you can make. You know what I'm saying? Uh, it can basically power everything that's EV and down. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to make IV energy hatches. You know what I'm saying? Once I get close to that, I'm about to make IV circuits and officially be an IV. And this is the whistling right here. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I still have it set up to where I'm basically drilling the void, mining the void for oil. I'm getting heavy oil or whatever, and I can process that up into cetane boosted diesel. You know what I'm saying? But that's gonna require a whole production line or whatever in order to do that. I also have a crazy wood farm that I'm not really utilizing any of that wood. I've just been using it for like basic stuff like that, so I can make wood tar out of that and run through make a whole production line and process that all the way up to nitrobenzene, which is another good option. Those are the top two options or whatever to make power. And then I got this, but in the meantime I can use this. This is the most accessible right now without making the whole production line. Those production lines or whatever, specifically the one over there for nitrobenzene or whatever, I will have to design that in the test world in order to fit it in the space that I have because I have a small footprint. You know what I'm saying? Maybe like 4 blocks, 4 to 6 blocks or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Inside of matter of fact, let me fly down there real quick. I made this setup before, but when I had the issues with the game freezing, um, I had to revert to a backup. So of course I don't have the entire setup anymore. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of work that I put into that. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Just kept it moving. But yeah, this entire system down here is completely filled with wood. So making one of these a system like that wouldn't even be an issue. You can see all the numbers right here of what I have in the system. And this is basically an entire forest. So this just goes back and forth, cutting everything down constantly or whatever. I could just leave that running basically forever. But the setup that I had basically fit inside of here. You know what I'm saying? It was a wise wood blocks. Always some kind of blocks missing. Yeah, but it basically fit inside of here. I had a whole setup. I had a portable storage interface or whatever connected to like a belt and everything was over here. And it had super chests over here that was pulling out all the wood. Using to create components to cook up the wood into charcoal or whatever, and then running through a couple of machines, getting wood tar out of that. And I basically had it all the way up to methane before I had the freeze or whatever that I had to go back, roll it back to a backup or whatever. That was a while ago. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I won't be able to do everything that I need to do to make nitrobenzene. If you know, it'll be like single block machines, which will be a little bit too slow to process all of that up. And then on the other side, I have uh, my setup or whatever for the distillery and all that. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like flying over there. Yeah, but it's two sections down. That's where the distillery's at, and I'm already processing that a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like the first two steps or whatever. To get it to cetane boosted diesel, whatever. But I still have to go through the recipes and everything else to find the most viable recipe path to get it to cetane boosted diesel. So those are things that I've been putting off because I've been trying to work on applied energistics or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm in a later version of the pack or whatever. So applied energistics is basically being heavily gregified, so it's harder to get to it. So like the way it is now, you have to basically be in EV. You know what I'm saying? Which is 7 tiers up in technology to even get into applied energistics. You know what I'm saying? So I guess they want you to use the Create Six method uh, of logistics or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But I haven't used that. You know what I'm saying? The only thing I used is chain conveyors really in the frogs. Yeah. So this is the thing, but I'm gonna probably go into a test world or whatever anyway. You know what I'm saying? I just want to get a basic rough outline and design the whole little system. It's not anything more complex than this or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Everything else after that just added in the piping system. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna pipe all the gems into the into the dynamos. You know what I'm saying? That's really it and cover all of these. You know what I'm saying? They're going straight into these flux plugs or whatever. You know what I'm saying? All I have to do is basically create a new network, and that's gonna give me a wireless network for power. You know what I'm saying? You pump it in with the plugs, and then you pull it out with the flux points. And I don't have any points on me. I don't know what I did with them. Had like almost a stack of them. Yeah, these are the points right here. So that's a point you just connect it to a block that requires power or whatever, and it's basically wireless power. You know what I'm saying? It's pulling it out of your out of your wireless network buffer. It's basically in the cloud. It's like wireless power that's in the cloud or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's the plan. You know, that's the plan anyway. You know what I'm saying?